Okay. Oh, plug the fucker in.
No way. Oh,
Yeah.
That's not plugged in. There you go.
That's why.
Lucky dude.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Very loud. Do you want me to
Look
turn
at that,
it
we've
down?
got two channels going.
Oh, it's fucking
Fucking
sick.
check 1, 2.
5CC Air Peninsula Radio. Because I grew up on Air Peninsula.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I grew up in a place called Cummins.
Cummins?
It's less
I
than
know
1,000
Cummins.
people. Yeah.
Yes.
And back then we didn't have Triple J, but there was a hill in between Cummins and Tumby that we used to drive to that we called Triple J Hill because it was the only place where you could get Triple J in our car radios. You go up there and smoke a few billies and have a listen to the old JJJs.
Nice.
Have a J and listen to Triple J.
Good time. I didn't know you were a Cummins man.
No, I keep getting sold as one of
Yeah.
Adelaide's comedians, and it's like, oh man, I only lived in Adelaide for a couple of years, if at best. At
Years
best.
were you in Adelaide?
But I just was around the comedy scene at that time, I guess, and so people seemed to think that I was one of Adelaide's.
Oh,
But I
right.
was like,
This is the comedy scene with David Williams.
yeah, yeah.
Adam Vincent.
Well, I studied acting with Dave Williams. That's where I met him. I was at CPA.
Oh,
And we were in the
yeah.
same class.
Yeah.
And then I met Adam through Dave.
What year did you do CPA?
That's a great question that I can't answer because it was too long ago. I don't know. It was straight out of year 12, so let's say 20 years ago.
20 years ago. Okay, yeah. I had a
Or
couple
more,
of mates
20... Fuck, hang on. I'm 42 now, so 25 years ago I finished year 12. So then the year after that I went into CPA.
Okay, so a little bit earlier. I had a mate that did it 99,
Right.
around about that time.
I'd already left Adelaide then. I was gone. I left Adelaide in 96. I was here for the Fringe and then I left I think I left in winter for Melbourne.
Okay, yeah. So trained actor, mate.
Well, yeah.
A bit of nighter and shit.
I know, I did the night of summer school, so yeah, okay. Yep, let's do that, say that.
Is there any voice warm-ups that we could probably do for this?
Humma.
Hum.
And then you do this thing where you sort of curl your tongue out and you go like this, you go... It's like a cat. So they say if you're having trouble with a stutter that you've got to try and picture the image of the word that you're saying
Yeah.
and then let yourself say what you're seeing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because you're trying to get ahead of yourself. And then also once you know that you've got a stutter, that'll cause more nervousness, which will then make you stutter more. So it's like a snake eating itself, unfortunately. So you've got to focus on the thing that you want to say, but pause on it for a minute and then say it when you see the image in your head.
Okay.
Yeah. And I only got that from watching I watched The Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I think it was on that. And one of the guys on that stuttered.
Far into it.
Yeah, one of the guys on that stuttered when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And the robot mum taught him how to not stutter. And I remembered her little guidance technique there. And I thought, that's really interesting. So, I mean, I don't know if that could be fiction. I've just told you that I've ripped from a Netflix series based on special superhuman children.
I've got this problem because you're trying to find a word that describes something. Like I'd think with, what the fuck is the word the? You know,
Okay.
I'd be stumped.
Right.
I can't think of the word the.
Yes.
So I'd have to just Google it and I'll find it.
There's a new piece of software called Grammarly,
Yes.
which you can use to help you write. And so you'll write out how you would normally do it, and then it sort of updates it and helps you. It's just like a built-in thesaurus, and it'll make you seem a lot smarter than you actually are if you're
so you
writing
sound
a
like
presentation.
Siri.
Well, pretty much. Yeah, which is...
What would Siri say?
Can we set this back in ye oldie times, please? Forsooth and thusly. Hang on, I just wanted a presentation on fucking how good milk is.
So we're still in sound check.
Oh, right, this is the sound check.
Right here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Have we started? We started,
Welcome to
right.
Adelaide.
You can use all that. That's positive. Why not?
I always do.
There we go.
Podcast.
Yes.
So Cam Knight, welcome to the Miley Lounge, mate. Thanks for coming down.
Here we are, surrounded.
Surrounded by Miley.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Does she always get a mention?
Usually does. I mean, it's hard to be in the Miley Lounge and not think of Miley.
You've got to tag her every time you release this now, then, just in the hope.
So?
I think you might have
Is
to.
it a bit stalkery, though?
But aren't you supposed to do that when you're trying to promote something? And if you're sort of tapping into somebody or something from the zeitgeist, if you tag that thing, then other people who are fans of said thing could very well listen in. That could build you up a different audience. That would be.
But I haven't really been doing that sort of strategy. I've just been putting content out there as much as possible and not trying to promote it that much.
Fair enough. Just
I have recently,
underground.
I started to do little clips and videos.
Oh yeah.
This is about the hashtag, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the tags.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Miley Lounge.
Miley Lounge, yeah. Maybe you can practice some of your new jokes at the Miley Lounge. I'll put canned laughter in.
Okay. It's her laughing. The problem with that is I just imagine she's laughing at my dick. So I don't think that'd be great. Anyway. But she makes this. Does this help your attitude?
It does, mate.
This having her attitude.
Trigger.
Great.
Yeah.
You should do the ceiling while you're at it. I mean, it's your place. You can do whatever you want.
That's it.
You should have Liam Neeson on the dartboard, though. Liam Neeson? Hemsworth.
Yeah,
oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right, mate.
They're all the same, aren't they, those
They're
Liams?
the
They're all tall.
Yeah.
Anyway. What are we talking about?
Whatever you want to talk about, mate. What are you doing with the Fringe, mate?
Well, I just came over, you know. I mean, my family still live here, so I've got my mum and dad and my sister and her kids, and so it's good to come over. And I was produced by a good team of people last year for Melbourne Comedy Festival, and when they asked me if I wanted to go over, I thought that would be a good idea because, I thought it'd be in safe hands, basically, and it's a good opportunity to come over. And I like the Fringe. I mean, I used to love the Fringe when I was younger. It was fantastic. It was really quite electric. Back in the day when Red Square still existed and it, the Fringe was particularly there to go up against the festival, Adelaide Festival. And, you had the hub out the back of the Exeter there where the car park now is, but that used to be where the hub is, and they used to see lots of free live stuff. And it was awesome, like when I was like 18, 19, I remember the bars used to have this incentive where you could go and if you collected all the plastic schooner cups, they'd give you 5 cents a schooner cup. And so I was a bit pov back then, so I used to go down there and just collect just meters. I'd just stack all of these cups up and go until I had enough to get a schooner and then drink a free schooner, essentially. And I would just do that repeatedly. Throughout the course of the night, and then just go and catch shows and stuff. It was such a different atmosphere because now, the gardens have sort of become the very thing that the Fringe set out to go against.
Yeah,
it
almost feels
bizarre.
like a Royal Adelaide show now.
Well, it's a circus. It's not really art. No offense to anyone who fucking, juggles chainsaws and shit, but honestly, it's like cabaret and all those sorts of shows in the tents. It's just a bit of a circus, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Cabaret and magic, and again, no offense to magicians, don't fucking write me an email.
I think you've done the right thing, though. You're only doing a few shows, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just here till Sunday. Well, you're not going to stay here for the whole month. You just sort of do short runs in and out, really, unless you've got unless you are a magician or you're a burlesque performer or you've got in a big cabaret troupe, you've got a huge draw card essentially to justify being here and pulling in those audiences. You just got to come in and out. There's still a lot of stand-up. There's a lot of comedy around. Personally, I don't like doing the comedy in the tents in the gardens anyway. There's so much noise going on. Because you can't have any moments of soft pathos in your show when you're in a tent surrounded by fucking Ferris wheels and tattooed men screaming. So anyway, this comedian was telling me one time they had a low moment, like every night they had a lull in their show where they sort of trying to evocatively draw their audience in. And it was at that particular time every night when the bar decided to empty their bottle bin out. So now here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And it just fucks you can't. What do you do when you're getting heckled by bottles? There's no win there. It sounds fucking horrible. But I feel like I timed it right, like it's after Clipsal, so you're not going to get that weird crossbreed of society coming in trying to,
Yeah, and you're happy with your show?
Oh, it's a good show. I did it last year. So it's called Get Rich or Die Crying, and it's basically about money. It's about money. This whole show is about money in different ways, where my money's going, where it's gone, trying to get ahead, dealing with that with children, trying to find time to actually be able to afford to do anything with my wife in terms of dating, gifts, what we do for gifts now, and all that sort of stuff. So the history of what we used to do together compared to what we do now. So there's a lot involved there, really. It all sort of came about because last year my wife and I had to do a very romantic thing together We had to sit down and do a budget, which just made me want to walk out into traffic. But I wouldn't, because we live in Sydney. I'd probably have to pay a fucking toll on it. So we had to do this budget, and we just worked out where all our money was going, because it feels like I work my ass off. You know, I'm always away. Most of the time, every year, I'm away from home like 50% of the time, just on the road touring, and I'm always saying yes to gigs and just any gig too. Like before I got here, before I started my run yesterday, Adam Vincent's brother has a property down in Port Elliot, and a week ago he contacted me and he just said, if I can get a crowd for you and I'll give you a guarantee, do you want to come down and do a gig in my venue? Because he's got he's got a shed that he turned into a little comedy club. And I was like, yep, no worries, let's have a go, let's go down there. And it felt like I was back home on Eyre Peninsula. It was fucking excellent. Like everyone, there was people like smoking cones, and you know, my mum and dad came down. Nice. And it was just, we walked in, I was like, oh, this feels like Cummins, this is bizarre, I'm in his shed. And he got like, 80 odd or to 100 people there. It was phenomenal. It was a great gig. Yeah. And he got that going in a week. The weirdest thing was that their dog just at some point mid-set just walked up on stage, sniffed my leg and fucked off again. And I was like, that was awesome. He just came up and it was almost like the dog was like, hey man, you're doing great. So, and walked off again. It was really cool. And so I always just say, yes to those sorts of things. And so it's kind of like, when are we going to get ahead? You get to a certain point in your life where, when you first start out in comedy, it's so exciting because you're getting paid in beer. Yeah. And then when you start getting paid the money that you're getting paid, or cash gigs, that's even exciting too, because you feel like you're rich. You've just got actual cash dollars in your pocket and you're not paying the tax man or whatever. And then you get to a point now with me where I've got a family, I've got a mortgage, I've got all these other, responsibilities. So I'm just saying yes to all sorts of things, and it felt like I was still... I'm not saying I'm poor, I'm just saying it felt like sometimes I was just digging sideways.
Well, you got more to lose now.
When
you're young and you're living off beer money and
you can say whatever.
You do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But now you're trying to hold on to stuff, and I know being a father would be a big pivotal moment for you as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty big turning point. I think it took a couple of years for me to actually wake up to it, I think. Yeah. And change my behaviours and change... I stopped drinking 2 years ago, and that was 2 years after my firstborn was born.
Mate.
Cheers, thank you.
No, seriously, that you should celebrate that. That's an honourable thing. I mean that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's it was another reason. It was just one of those things, like you just end up on the road all the time drinking. You just becomes your go-to. You start out, you sort of do form a pretty destructive relationship with alcohol when you start out. You drink to celebrate a good gig, you drink to commiserate a bad one. And I at that time didn't think there was anything wrong with that until my wife said that I might have a problem, and I never thought that I had a problem with drinking. I just thought I was Australian, because we fucking... That's what you do. Yeah, because we do. We all get pissed, In my head, I'm like, I'm on the road and I'm making money, but man, I probably pissed half that away in that first 2 years that my son was born. So I have to sort of take stock of that and realise, it's better that I don't drink, because we can save some money at least, and I'll be present and a better father and partner. And are you still okay being around other people that drink? And that's fine. It doesn't trigger me or anything. I get a bit bored. Good. Like, I don't really go out that often. I can be around anybody drinking. It's not a problem for me. It's more that when I'll stay up late, but then after a little while I might just go, I can see the wheels are about to fall off for them, and also I just get tired. Like, I kind of would rather just go to bed, rather have a fucking good sleep. You need a quirky soft drink. I've just been drinking Bundaberg ginger beer a lot, because it's still like a beer bottle at least. Killer, mate. Yeah. You need to endorse that shit. There you go, Bundy. Yeah, it's good shit. They did a Christmas one, I noticed. Hey? The Bundy did a kind of a festive ginger beer. Oh yeah. Around Christmas time, you should get on that. I didn't know about that. Yeah. I did a Bundy tasting in the town of Bundaberg itself. Yes. They do all sorts of different flavours. They do mango and passion fruit and their own version of cola and that grapefruit thing and sarsaparilla, and they did their own creaming soda. They do stuff that they only keep in Bundaberg for some reason. They don't export all of it. So we had a bit of that was weird doing Just a soft drink tasting as if I
that's
was
fun,
at a
mate.
vineyard. Yeah,
Get on that.
That's pretty fun.
What about mocktails? Are you into that?
Yeah, I'm not going to pay $15 for a bunch of fucking cordial with some leaves in it. Get fucked. You know? Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Yeah.
I can do this at home.
Did you want a cordial? I have a cordial.
Okay, man, I'm alright. You
sure?
gave me a coffee, it's
I was
fine.
just thinking out of solidarity.
No, it's alright, man.
Go down with the cordial.
No.
Alright, I'm not taking the piss.
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
No,
Appreciate it.
That's fine. I did notice you did a Facebook update. You kind of came across a bit defensive
What?
about the giving up the drinking and your choices of giving up drinking.
No, I said in that post, when I turned 2, I just said it's weird when you don't drink because people immediately will
try and
they'll say one of two things.
Yeah.
What did you do wrong?
Right.
And are you ever going to drink again or something like that? But it's usually what did you do wrong? But it's a judgment on your behaviour, I think is what I meant. So there's this order, I say it in my show, it's funny, like Australians don't like to hear that another Australian doesn't drink. When you say that, it's like a little palpable mist of judgment descends over the room.
Yeah.
And everyone looks at you as if you're the weirdo, So there's that sort of thing. And I think they also feel like, that's another thing, they kind of feel like because I don't drink and they drink, that I'll become one of those holier-than-thou fuckwits and I'm going to start judging their behaviours, which I'm not. And that's what I meant when I said that. I'm like, I'm not. You live your own life. I don't judge what you do. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not doing this for you. Your happiness isn't my responsibility.
Yeah.
Do it. Fucking live your life. You're in your own body, champ. Do it. I'll do what I do. You do what you do, and I don't care. Because I've done enough of shit. I've done heaps of stupid shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, as if I'm going to go, well, I've stopped drinking now and that makes me a different person. And so you're a piece of shit because you drink. And it's funny because you say, I don't drink. And then immediately people will start talking about how they wish they could stop drinking or they could pull it back and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't care, man. We don't need to have this conversation. You don't need to justify what you're doing to me. The first year was like white knuckling it. I was what they would describe as a dry drunk, where I was still, like I hadn't really come to terms with it, and so I was just one of those people who was kind of still, I guess, an alcoholic, or I guess I still wanted to drink, and I was just gripping it, trying to get through that first year. And there was once that.
Did you find it didn't actually help your problems, but it was more burying it and sort of disassociating with all the bullshit in your life?
I found that it actually made me a lot. I fell into a really intense depression about halfway through the first year of sobriety, which I was surprised by. I actually thought when I stopped, the clouds would part. Because you hear all of these people that clearly don't have a problem like I did or whatever, and they do things like Dry July or October or something, and they get halfway through and they start saying how fucking amazing they feel, and we're drinking smoothies and we're going to yoga and how good's life, I'm so fit, positivity, and how do you feel? You must feel amazing. And I'm like, nah, fuck, I want to kill myself. That's how I feel.
Can't handle that, can
you
they?
Fucking positive piece of shit. That's now I'm going to judge you. I'm definitely going to judge you now. Go get pissed again. I hate this sober version of yourself. I think also with them, they've only taken a month off. They know they're going to go back to it. Whereas I was like, well, this is...
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to it.
You're not doing it for a fucking charity, are you?
No, and I'm not. I have no desire to drink again.
Yeah.
But I have, it was hard to sort of come to, I guess. It's not like I wasn't a fucking raging alcoholic. I just drank a lot. When you have a relationship with alcohol the way that I did, you become very aware of your maturity level, I guess, because I've had a relationship with drugs and alcohol for, over 20 years now. They say when you're using anything, that from the time that you started, that's the age that you sort of stay at.
Yeah.
Mentally and, your maturity level. So I was like, oh man, I'm in my 40s and I'm still fucking 17. Yeah. So you're having to deal with all of that and just kind of live life on life's terms, and just and dig deep and work on yourself personally and just be cool with it. Like, just to be cool in the moment. If things aren't going right for you, don't go drink because of it. Or if you're having a good time, don't go drink because of it. It's just, and for the first year that can make you feel like then everything's just the same. Like it just feels like everything's the same.
Yeah.
You know, you just get off stage, you've had a great gig, and then you just go home and eat some chocolate and watch Netflix, and you're like, what was that about? You know, or then something might be happening, you know, something might be upsetting you, you know, things are a bit stressful, or something didn't work out your way, and then you don't have any way of sort of releasing that. Again, you kind of got to just kind of sit in that, or just work through it and not, you know, take it out on anybody or yourself, and that you know, that can really sort of throw you around a little bit. Like it takes you a while to get used to that sort of shit.
At least when you're drinking, you had an excuse for your hangover, but you're like, where the fuck is this feeling coming from?
Yeah, and I don't wake up still to this day like, hello birds, hello trees. You know, I'm not like fucking Pee Wee Herman, just like, hey doggy, pancakes or anything. I fucking wake up like the devil, and that could just be because of age and tired or diet. I don't know. It's just I'm just a bit clunky and a bit fucking cloudy. But I can go out like that now. So that's another thing. Like I don't sit up and worry about anything anymore.
That's great.
It is. I just go, fuck this. So someone said to me, when you're worried about something at night, you know, particularly if it's late at night, they just said, well, tell yourself or ask yourself, can you fix that problem right now? And if the answer is no, then fucking go to sleep. You know, it's not that simple. But when I used to tell myself that, it's like, yeah, that's true. I can't send anyone an email now. It's 2 a.m.
I know.
What's the point of worrying about this bullshit? And then it's just going to fuck my day up tomorrow. So I'm going to go to sleep. And so now I do it. I just get into bed and I'm like, see ya. I'm done.
That's such a good skill to be able to do that. I know. It just reminded me of a story about. This was going back about last year when I got that letter from the bank saying that my mortgage had defaulted, and I hadn't actually realised.
Right.
I was going through this depression phase where I just wouldn't read my letters because I wasn't getting happy letters.
I only open happy letters.
Yeah, I only open the happy ones.
They should put smiley faces on bills.
Yeah, that's
just to trick you. Just a little smiley emoji. Yeah. Oh, this is a happy letter. Ah, fuck.
Yeah. I'm looking at it going, there's one from eBay with a free Mentos, so I'll open that one.
Yeah, right.
But not the bills. And there was nothing I could do. I couldn't ring legal advice, and I didn't want to disturb my family. But it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep on this. But how the fuck do you do that without?
No, that's hard. You know, because that's also hard too, because you're fighting against your body's natural fight or flight stimulus. So you got all this. You know, you got your adrenaline fucking coursing through your brain and the cortisol and all that sort of shit. You know, because you get really rattled, and then that could spiral you into some sort of panic attack too. So it's really hard to sort of quiet that storm when you're in that sort of situation. It's like kind of
saying the wolves are coming to disrupt your camp.
Yeah,
just have a good night's sleep, mate.
Yeah, and it's hard too when they just say, you know, the best thing to do is just to control your breathing, and you're just like, breathe. I got to breathe. That's all I got to do. Just fucking breathe, is it? Breathe. This is going to make everything better. Just fucking breathe. It's going to get rid of the mortgages at Champ. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll just go and breathe on the bank manager. That'll do it. Sure. No worries. Fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywy.
Well, that's it.
This is some attitude consultant conversations we're having right now.
All the time, mate. What is it about money? Why is there so much pressure to fucking go out and make money?
Oh, I don't know. Like status, things, you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
It costs money. Yeah, that's it. And people feel like there's a lot of people in Sydney who live beyond their means, that's for sure. People look rich, and they're not. They're just blown out. Like, they are just overdrawn like motherfuckers. You know, they got their Beamer on lease, and they got over $1 million mortgage, and they feel like they have to have all of these things that make them look like that matches the job that they've got, but the job's just not quite paying them enough to pay that off, and so they're just hoping, just gripping it. It's another form of white knuckling. Yeah. There's heaps of that happening in Sydney because of the fucking image of it and stuff like that.
Thousands a year, but just wanting more.
Yeah, it's nuts. How much
Just
do you
chasing
need?
it more.
Some of those fucking, you know, the banks, the CEOs, that's why the Royal Commissions happen. You know, that woman from, what bank was it? She just got done for all of her properties that she owned and all this other shit. And it's like, how much stuff do you need, champ? Like, how much wealth do you have? Man, even I was thinking, where was I? It was like yesterday I saw on TV, and it just got me angry because it was like, oh, this is another ad like the World Vision ads. I'm looking at this kid. There's a starving little boy and girl from Africa, and they're eating fucking gruel with their fingers, and the flies are in their eyes. And I was like, these ads have been happening for 30 years. Nothing's changed. Where's all the fucking money?
Yeah.
Where's it gone? Surely there's enough money being generated over 30 years for these people to have better than fucking porridge. Like, there's got to have been some change, and the ads just make it look like it's dire, and it's so someone's skimming or someone's making some money out of it. But also, there is an immense amount of wealth in this world that you would have thought by now that some billionaire would have just gotten rid of half of his wealth to fix that problem on their own. A lot of charities legally can keep a pretty high percentage of what they make to cover their costs and to cover their wages and all of that sort of stuff, right? So a lot of that shit can just get dissolved. It just disappears, you know. So then they might go and just with it give them a well. You know, and that's about it. But the amount that they earn to the amount that then gets distributed out is incredibly disproportionate. It's exactly the same with comedy too, you know, like you do stand like an artist. Well, their gross intake versus their take home is so far away because everyone else has got their hand out on the way to the net. You're putting all of these big acts in the gardens, and there's all these TV and radio stars, and I mean, can't complain because those sorts of avenues have employed me as well in the past. But like, all of these big names are now on the Fringe, and so that's not really Fringe, is it?
It's festival.
It's not Fringe.
It's festival.
So then you got everybody else, all these other bottom feeders, just orbiting this fucking entity,
seagulls,
and just trying to get by, and that's where the sort of Fringe is. It's almost like this Fringe needs another Fringe to go up against it, or do what Edinburgh does and do like a free Fringe or something. But again, I don't know if you got the population to sustain that either, you know, because there's too much shit happening at the start of every year.
The image of the human centipede right now.
It's just there'll be a Fringe, and then there'll be a Fringe of the Fringe, and then a Fringe of the Fringe of the Fringe, and then it just keeps going until some dude's doing a show. And he's just in the sand. He's buried up to his neck in sand. He's like, "This is all I can do. Can you just put food in my mouth, and I'll talk to you for a bit."
Just fart for me,
fart in a jar. That's the Fringe of the Fringe of the Fringe of the Fringe. It's just a fart in a jar, and you got to throw coins at it.
You just reminded me of that idea of doing Gogglebox live.
Yeah.
We just have a
Oh, what? So you watch Gogglebox on TV on stage and heckle the show?
Yeah.
So it's a show paying at a show that's watching a show. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, like
I think one of the shows that I was in was on Gogglebox.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what they thought of it.
Was that the one with you in real estate or something?
Yeah, it was called Unreal Estate.
Unreal Estate. Tell me about that, because I was actually in hospital. I was high on morphine at the time, and I thought, what's fuck
going
is that
on?
camera in a pink suit?
He's in a pink shirt.
Pink shirt?
That's what you do when people pay you money. You do what you're told. It was
Tell me about it.
It was a show that Kate Langbrook and I hosted, and we travelled all around Australia, and we visited all these millionaires and billionaires' properties, and it was meant to be a light-hearted take at how the other half lived, and we were just sort of allowed free range on their property and through the house, and we got to see their some houses had his and hers helipads or some shit. Some people lived in remote island locations and all sorts. It was pretty wacky, and we were sort of everything. It was actually really cool the way they sold the idea of the show to us originally, and the way that we filmed it. It was high pressure, because I wouldn't see a photograph or any footage or images of any house that I went to prior to getting there. So I'd get a brief on the owners, so I had some backstory, because I knew that I had to interview them at some point during the day. So that interview would go for about half an hour, 45 minutes. So I wanted to know what they're about and how they made their money and what they do for crust and all that sort of shit. And so when we would arrive at the house, at the property, and that would be the first time that I'd see it. So it was shot like an obdoc, where they were getting actual real reactions from us both.
Yep.
So it was one of those things where you had to really watch yourself, because there's sometimes you just want to go, fucking hell, and that's not great for Channel 9. They don't like that. So you had to constantly try and find different ways to say wow.
Yeah.
A lot.
So you had your poker face on a lot
Had
of the
poker
time?
face a lot on.
Yeah.
And that was good, man. Most of them were really nice people. There were some people that just had too much money, and they didn't need it. Like I remember one lady, I asked her, I said, I saw a tap she had in her marble kitchen. It was like a neon lit tap. And I just went, oh, that's a pretty weird tap, where'd you get that from? And she just let it slip out how much it was, as if it was nothing to her. Like she just went, oh, it's $10,000. And I just was like, inside of me, I was like, oh, you fucking $10,000. Like, that's a car. Like, what I could do with $10,000. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're part of the problem, you piece of shit. But you can't say that to...
Because you're getting paid to wear
I'm getting paid to wear a pink shirt and look nice and sort of rub shoulders with the elite. So I had to sort of learn how to respond in a lifestyle television manner. So when they would say something horrific, instead of like putting their head through a plasterboard, I would they'd say like, oh, it's $10,000. I would just look at them and just go, yes. Instead. So it was fucking funny. So like, if you ever do watch it again and you see me on the air just going, yes, just know that really behind my eyes, I was just thinking, you cunt.
Yeah.
Like that's...
So you're just like suppressing it, just holding it down.
Yeah, pushing it down. Pushing it down.
Yeah,
But
like,
most of the time it was good fun. Like, it was cool. It was a good show. And I think they Gogglebox that, because it's that sort of show that people would talk about.
Oh, look at that. They've got a jet ski and a boat and helicopters and jeepers creepers.
That's what they basically say on Gogglebox, isn't it?
Would you live there, darling? I don't know. Get us another beer, love.
And it's fucking primetime television.
I can't stand it. It triggers me.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't even watch free to air.
You don't?
I don't watch it.
See, in hospital, I really got to see a lot of junk TV.
Right. What was that?
Oh, hang on, that's the phone, mate.
Oh, cool. Oh, you got an old school phone.
Yeah. Hold
Oh,
on.
man, look at that thing.
Yeah, hold on a sec. We're just
It's
going to
got an
take a break.
old-school
We'll
phone.
just cut to
Bye.
cut to an advert. Hello. No. Sorry, I don't want any.
Was that the phone or the buzzer out the front?
No, that was that phone.
Right.
See, I'm a little old school. Just take a break. Do you want another coffee?
Nah, I'm cool, man.
How long you got, mate?
It's 1:30. When did we start?
About one.
I'll take a piss.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Sorry if it's...
Cool.
So we're talking about Gogglebox.
Something like that.
Gogglebox, alright. I think we're still going.
Humma.
Okay, yeah, it's still going. Alright. So yeah, to me, Gogglebox is kind of like watching it like you are the back of the human centipede.
Right, that's it. That's
Yeah.
where it ends.
That's where it ends.
Okay.
Like, but I'm thinking with the live thing, like you said, you can take it further. It's just
Heckling the show that's heckling the show.
Heckling the show, and then the audience. Then you plant someone in the audience that heckles.
Heckles you. And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you could do that. And then you could have somebody filming that going on their phone.
Yeah, Facebook Live.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And then have someone at their home watching that and have you filming them watching that Facebook Live of this event taking place somewhere else.
Correct.
That's huge. That's a lot to undertake. There's your Fringe show for next year, mate.
There was something I was going to ask you about. You were Andrew Denton's fluffer for a while. Are you still doing that?
I did that last year.
Last year. What was the title you gave yourself? An audience warm-up engineer or something?
Yeah, an audience response engineer or something.
That's hilarious.
It was, their marketing guy, Mitch, contacted me and just asked me if he could do a little short film about the warm-up artiste.
Yes.
And he was really nice about it because he thought that I might take offence to it, like, because it's not the greatest job to do. It's a thankless job, essentially. And I think he was sort of worried as well that because I'd just, the year before I'd hosted a show on Channel 9, and I think he was worried that I might have some ego attached to that I'm like better than doing warm-up and wanted to do this warm-up secretly. But like I said, I say yes to anything because it pays me money. And if I'm not going to get a job hosting something, I might as well take the fucking warm-up money, so who cares? But Denton was really good about it as well, so we were just allowed to... We just basically improv the whole thing and just fucked around.
Mate.
So,
fun.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah. Audience response engineer.
Yeah. So how did he pitch it to you?
That, basically what I just said. He's like, man, I just want to do a little thing. We're just doing a bit of behind-the-scenes content. Can we do one on the warm-up artiste? Would you be okay with it? Are you going to be all right? This, and this. And I just went, yeah, of course, let's do it. It's fucking, who cares?
And he was a bit surprised that you were so enthusiastic.
Well, I don't care. Yeah, I was like, I don't care.
I know you well enough, mate.
Like, it's all right.
Take the piss out of yourself.
And Denton was really nice. Like, he came in on the sketch and stuff, and...
I really like his interviewing style, just the way that he
he's great.
Listens to the guests.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was actually, that was a really good one to be in the studio for, actually, because it's a nice sized audience to warm up and get going. But then once you get going with the interview, it's happening. There's very little stopping and starting, So you're just basically watching him do what he does and then also getting engrossed in the conversation itself. So it's nice to watch somebody of that caliber work. That was cool. That was really good. So it was kind of a nice little learning experience, I guess, to learn about conversations and how to keep them going, particularly for television. He's a really well researched individual. He's a really intelligent person and a really generous person as well. So it's nice. It's one of those ones where you meet somebody and you're relieved that they are what they say on the packet. They're not like pretending to be this super nice guy on air and then off air they're just just an asshole. Like he's actually a really good guy. It was cool. It's a big job. It's getting them going and into the right frame of mind, like if you're not
attitude.
An attitude. Yes. It is about that positive attitude, and also you've got to keep that positivity going. If you're not good at what you do as a warm-up, it will show. It's really quite palpable when there's a flat audience. But if you're a good warm-up, you can turn a flat audience around into a really giving audience, and there can still be energy. And so these shoots, some of the big shoots, can go for. You'll be in studio. You might be working for 10 hours, and they might split that with two audiences. But each audience may be in there for 4.5 to 5 hours. So that's a long time to keep people's interest. If there's a lot of stopping and starting and whatnot, and if it's hot, there's a lot of different things, little factors that can sort of play against you. So you've got to be on your toes and be pretty proficient at crowd work and also just communication with people too. Like it's actually, I used to think it was a shitty job, but then I just went, actually, this is a nice thing to.
It's rewarding.
It's actually quite rewarding to be able to communicate with people like that and learn how to communicate with everybody on a different level. I'm trying to take a learning from anything that I do now. It's another thing, like you got to just push your ego aside and then go into it with an open heart and an open mind and try and get the most out of the situation. Otherwise, you're just a fucking robot.
That's good advice.
Is that good for your attitude consultant?
Attitude
That's your
consultant.
promo blurb just there. Go in with an open heart and an open mind with everything so you can learn something. Otherwise, you're a fucking robot, Cam Knight.
No, it's really good. It kind of was thinking of me when I was on New Start.
Yeah.
And Centrelink, like having to forced to go to these appointments where because I was still recovering from my injury, but I wasn't eligible for full disability.
Right.
It put me in the middle of the range where I had to rock up to these appointments with like people like with Down syndrome,
Right.
or that are forced to go into work because they supposedly got a capacity to work 15 hours a week.
Right.
So I'm forced into this situation where it's like, I don't want to be here, this is painful, so I'm going to make the most of it, I'm going to record it.
Okay.
Right? So I've come up with my best stand-up material from that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, no, it's great. It's like, well,
Right.
you're forcing me to go down this road, well, I'll go down this road, but I'll be fucking dancing on that shit, you know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. That's
Like,
good.
and empower other people while I'm there.
Yeah, nice. That's a perfect thing to do. Absolutely.
It's kind of just reminded me, like, I'm not just going to sit around and do what I'm fucking told.
And so, yeah, that's great. How long have the doctors said that this is now something that you will be afflicted with for the rest of your life, or is this something that's going to pass, or what?
Well, the doctors told me I'd never walk again.
Yeah, well, now
And
so
I
this
thought
is
I
incredible.
couldn't
Like,
walk.
you're actually
Yeah.
a miracle.
Well, it's a miracle I'm alive.
This is
I'm
phenomenal.
not,
Right.
like-
Do you feel like you have a new lease on life now? Do you feel like that is almost like a rebirth for you, or just part of it, are you still sort of getting over the fact that really fucking knocked you around, took you out of work and out of
both,
your life
mate.
for a while?
I
Right.
feel like my life is split between before I was sick and after I was sick.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of picking up the pieces, but I do feel like I've been given a second chance.
Yeah.
My life is never going to be the same, and I'm aware of that.
It's scary stuff. Like,
It
I can
is
relate to
scary.
that. That's the same with me. Like, I have a life before I stopped drinking and after I stopped drinking.
Yeah.
And it's still, I'm trying to navigate that, you know. It's interesting. Like, it's sort of similar in that sense. You don't know
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you should feel great. And it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary.
Well, that's why I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
trying
it's
to make
good.
sense of it.
Great. Well, it's good. It's
I'm trying to
therapy.
navigate- Sorry?
It's therapy.
Exactly.
Excellent.
As long as I can sustain... I use a lot of buzzwords, Cameron.
Okay.
So that was my latest buzzword.
Sustainability.
Sustainability, authenticity.
Yeah.
That's another buzzword. I should play buzzword bingo.
Oh, that's good. Yep,
Like,
for your show.
get a guest on
And see if you say that word.
and have a whole list of my buzzwords.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we have to check them out whenever either of us says
Say
it.
as yeah,
And then we'll just say fucking bingo.
bingo. That's the
Yeah.
show.
And that could be the show.
Is that could be a different podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have time to do it now.
Thank fuck for that.
Would you like to do a little something in front of the Miley Lounge? Get the SingStar mic out.
SingStar. What's your favourite Miley song? I don't mind that Wrecking Ball song, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I play that on acoustic. I was just trying to learn that on acoustic guitar. It's actually quite a good
Oh,
song.
can you play it on recorder? Because maybe we could do a little
I
rendition.
can't play it on recorder. Have you got a recorder?
I do, yeah.
Bloody hell. That's
the
disgusting.
funny thing is, I've got the full Miley outfit, so I've got the. Hang on, I'll just show this to you.
Okay, alright.
Bit of show and tell.
He's gotten up from the table, if you're still listening, and he's going
still
over
hear me?
to the Miley couch. There he
this
is.
is
You
the
can still
Miley
hear him.
couch.
He's rifling through his Miley bag now.
So
And here we go. We've got
these
a
little numbers here
lovely Miley pair of pants.
from Bangers. So I wore that on
Yep.
stage.
Yes. Where did you get all of this stuff? From her website? eBay. And a Miley jacket which has her face on it eating a sprinkled ice cream.
So I did
Fuck,
that.
people would pay good money for that. You wore that on
I
stage.
wore that on stage.
What at? At a
I
show?
warmed up for David Lieberhart from Tim and Eric's.
Oh, that's perfect.
And
Did he love that?
He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. So, and then I just played Wrecking Ball on recorder.
Oh, there you go. That was all you did for the warm-up?
That's all
Did
I
you do
did
any
for the warm-up.
stand-up? Or you just walked out, did recorder, dressed like that,
Just like
and
that.
fucked off again?
And then fucked off.
And then introduced him?
Yeah.
That's sensational.
Yeah, people loved it.
That's
They
really
called
wacky.
it for encore.
So fucking good. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. No, that was so fun. I reckon it was 2 years I methoded that fucking character. Just lived it.
It's a lot to embody. It really is. There's a lot going on in those pants. Just I don't know how many faces of Miley they are on there, but
500 Mileys.
500 Mileys. And I would walk 500 Mileys. Have you done that?
I've done.
That's a parody for you.
Yeah, I've done his artwork.
Okay.
When I get tradespeople coming in, and I just kind of let them know, I go, just let you know, it's a set, it's a film, it's a set. I'm doing a podcast like that. Just trying
It's a set.
Just let you know, I'm not.
It's a set. I film myself jerking off in here, put it on the internet, and it goes off. People love it. It's just a permanent set for that, really. I'm on my free cams. You can catch me on my free cams.
You see what I do with the VB bottle, mate?
Oh, fucking hell. I really come out of my wrecking ball. Yeah, great.
I've even got the Miley merch here, 2 Mileys, 1 cup.
I'm surprised you're drinking coffee. I thought you'd have Milo. Milo in a Miley cup. Miley Milo?
That.
She could do Miley Milo. What, have you created Miley Milo?
I do.
Nestle, if you're listening, we've got ourselves a tin of Miley. You've printed that up, made from malted butter. Oh, it's still the same thing, but her head's superimposed.
There you go,
she's
mate.
kicking a socky. Good on you.
Yeah.
This is just filled with cocaine. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's good. That's all you need. Or is it rich in protein because it's your dehydrated cum? Is that what it is?
Just expressed in there.
Oh God. This is going to be buried in the internet, and one day my son's going to find this, and he's going to be, fuck, Dad. What were you thinking?
That's an interesting topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you protect your kids from the internet?
I don't know.
It's all out there, mate.
I know. Yeah, there's that Momo thing that was going around,
Yeah.
and then at first you didn't know if it was real, and then it's been said that it's a hoax, and yeah, sure, there's fucking weirdos on there. I guess,
Yeah.
you know, we just got to be around. Then, like, we let them watch some music clips and stuff on YouTube, or just like maybe some kids' songs or something on YouTube. That's what we watch if we watch anything on YouTube with the kids. But then sometimes if you leave it unattended,
Yep.
anything random can just pop up. So some sort of adult content sometimes does pop up, not sexually explicit or anything like that, but it's not appropriate for kids.
Yeah,
because it's got that sort of random generator or whatever. It doesn't just keep playing kids stuff for you.
Yeah.
And if you are watching film clips in particular, like, it'll just do a different genre or something, you know. So you'd kind of got to be around. We got to be in the room when that's happening.
Yeah.
My main concern, I don't know if it's YouTube per se, or, you know, people telling my kids to go get a knife and kill me or themselves or anything like that. It's more, I think I'm just more afraid of what their self-esteem's going to be like because of social media from such a young age, and when to start sort of allowing that into their lives, and they're having access to their phones means that they'll have, you know, that's giving them the keys to the toilet. Basically, they can just go and fucking look up porn whenever they want. So it's having those discussions about what that is, as opposed to reality. You know, what sex is on porn and how it is, and you know, how they're just sort of vastly different, really. And just talking about, I guess we have to talk about more so respect and consent. They're boys. They're going to wake off. They're going to look at stuff. They're going to find stuff, just like I have and did. I mean, we grew up with fucking movies like Revenge of the Nerd, which is sort of advocating date rape.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember, there's a scene from that, one of the jocks was dressed up as Darth Vader, and the nerd wanted to get with the jock's hot girlfriend, and so he dresses up as Darth Vader, and then fucking sneaks in and tricks her and has sex with her, and then she discovers that it was the nerd all along, but because he was a better lover than her actual boyfriend, she forgave him and ended up going with him. And then by Revenge of the Nerds 3 or whatever, they were married or some shit. Like, you know, so it's advocating that sort of behaviour. Those sorts of things, those seeds that are planted, the shit that we grew up with, I think was far more fucking dangerous than what our kids are going to get. Particularly with films and television, there's a lot more. There's a lot more balance. You know, there's not as much homophobia or racism or sexism at all on shows And if there is, it's there to sort of educate in any way. You know what I mean?
True.
It's not making light of it. Like Revenge of the Nerds is full of fucking all of that. Like date rape, homophobia, racism as well. They were afraid of the black students. Sexism. They fucking filmed women in the nude. Same with Porky's as well. Remember they had that glory hole, spy hole, American Pie, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of grow up with those sorts of things. What are you going to think about women and about sex and about drugs and alcohol? So this, you know, I think we're in a better time and a better era for entertainment, particularly with narrative-driven entertainment, Netflix and Stan and the like, and movies are sort of pushing a different ideology which is healthier for your kids. I think it's more just the bullying and the bullshit, you know, the accessibility to their phones and with social media in particular, how that'll make them feel.
That's true.
That's what I've got to worry about more, I think.
Yeah, I know when we got bullied at school, I mean, at least we had a sanctuary of our own home, whereas...
It's there, the phone's there, so then they can be in their rooms and get online, and also, you know, sure, there's going to be I've got to sort of watch out where they're going, what sites they're going to, and who they're communicating with, because anyone can be a predator and they can be catfished by some fuckwits. But yeah, like it's those sorts of things I've kind of got to, I think, worry about more than even pornography, really. You know, like they'll work it out, you know. So we're having good conversations. I think we've covered some good ground. It's not like, fuck, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think these sorts of conversations are better on podcast anyway, because you get more of an insight into the act or the artist. Or we could just sort of riff and fuck around and have jokes, whatever. But you're asking me questions that sort of rely. They sort of rely upon some authenticity, don't they? I mean, I could just lie to you. I could. Maybe I did then. Maybe I am lying the whole way. I don't even have kids. It's all a ruse. I'm just trying to appeal to a demographic, knowing my age. I'm a lonely man. I'm not married. I don't have kids. This is all bullshit.
That's fine. I've never met Belinda, so...
No one has. No, she doesn't exist. She's a doll. I've just got photos of Miley Cyrus up in my lounge room as well.
Nice. Did you want to do a little quick set in front of the Miley Lounge?
What do you mean?
A bit of stand-up?
Not at all.
Okay.
That is definitely not what I want to do. I definitely don't want to do any fucking stand-up on a podcast. That is... And I want you to put that out there, what I just said. Don't edit this bit. Would you like to do some stand-up in front of pictures of a millionaire while I watch you in my lounge room? No, I definitely fucking don't. I know I said yes. I know I said that I say yes to a lot of gigs, but that's what I'm definitely saying no to.
I'm stoked that you said yes to doing this podcast.
Well, I've known you for a long time, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah. It's good to catch. Like, it's a great way to catch up with people.
Yeah, it is.
And I have to say, you're the only comic that I've asked
who said yes. Great. Oh, well, good. That's nice. Is there theme music starting soon so it can trail off?
Consultant is produced by Ryan Barry and distributed by the Ozcast Network.